at his early vision. I marvel at the risks that he took to launch this company and this movement. I honor him for those early steps, which we all know are most often the hardest. Now, as for me, I must confess, I did not always believe that this was such a good idea in the very beginning. Now, it's true, I was with my father the very first day we ever heard of this redox technology, at the very beginning. But as you know, it took me a bit longer to believe, belong, and become. Now, in my defense, I have to ask all of you, and I want you to answer honestly, how many of you would invest in a new venture started in the grip of the worst recession since the Great Depression by your dad, who happens to be just months away from turning 70, and it's selling salt water, a saltwater-based product that I might add tastes like pool water from Salt Lake City. Oh yeah, and to top it off, it's a network marketing venture. I've asked that question in a lot of places over the past 10 years. Few people have raised their hands, and yet, Dad, you were right. You were right. As much as it pains me to say as a son, you were 100% right. And for that, I will forever be grateful to you. ASEA has changed my life. It's been a blessing of immeasurable joy and richness to me. Last year, I honored Dad with this quote in my closing presentation. Throughout the centuries, there were men who took first steps down new roads, armed with nothing but their own vision. Their goals differed, but they all had this in common, that the step was first, the road new, the vision unborrowed. There can be no question or argument about the fact that my dad's vision for ASEA was unborrowed. It was his own. It was unwavering back then, and it still is today. He knew in almost prescient fashion that this product would make its way around the globe to the people who need it most. His unborrowed and unwavering vision, coupled with his credible background and career in corporate leadership, launched this legacy company. And right from the beginning, he inspired belief and engagement from others who bought into that vision and what this could become. Some of those people were amidst our earliest employees, and many are still with us here today. These are names you'll recognize. People like Justin Wilson, Kim Marie Larson, Karen Webb, and Karen Riley, and Chuck Funky. Quite frankly, ASEA would not be what it is today, nor where it is today, without just those 5 wonderful people. But there are others, people who don't get as much field recognition, but who have been with us from the very beginning. You saw Sarah Bailey on the video that launched this, Chris Strout, Frank Santoyo, Dave Wall, our CFO, Andrea Ortiz, and Karina Gonzalez. These are the employees who have been with us since the very early days. They bought into Virtus and the vision of ASEA early on. And from my view, they've truly impacted ASEA's growth and transformation in our first 10 years. Now, as you'd imagine, I have to speak of our beloved founding field leaders, many of whom spoke to us yesterday. I'm so proud to associate with all of them. My dad and I talked last night as I was driving home. He had watched the sessions yesterday, and he said, what an amazing, wonderful, classy group of leaders we've been blessed with since the very beginning. You know who you are. You know the ones that have been here with us from the beginning. They're the builders of ASEA, and we simply would not be here without our incredible field time. In a very real way, my dad's vision inspired and focused their personal visions. And in turn, their vision and commitment has since cascaded to inspire thousands of others in a way that can really only happen in network marketing. Now here's an interesting question. Was it Virtus's vision alone that sparked and sustained this movement? Or was it the vision and engagement of our founding field leaders and employees, along with all of you, that's driven this movement for 10 years? Well, as you might imagine, my simple answer is, of course it was both. It's all of us. And this is precisely why the cover of our newest Become magazine attempts to not only honor my father Virtus and his vision as our founder, but if you look closely at this image, you'll see that it's also very appropriately made up of all of you. Our associates, our field leaders, our employees, yes, and Virtus. In this special image, you're all behind him, you're in front of him, and you're even part of him, as he is with and for all of you. So the way I see it, for sure, there would not be a global ASEA movement without Virtus Norton. But I'm pretty sure you would agree with me on that. But guys, I'm equally certain there would be no ASEA founder Virtus Norton, and we would not have this great company today without all of you. And so we thank all of you, from our very first founding leaders in the field to our most recent associate or employee who just barely joined us. Yes, we honor my dad today for all that he's done, but to be sure, this is not his legacy alone. It's yours and it's all of ours. Last year in my closing remarks at convention, I declared that ASEA would in the future be establishing our own Redox Life Sciences lab to conduct research and development towards further understanding and applying redox principles. Now, I'm pleased to announce to all of you that phase 1 of this laboratory has been completed and now occupies a prominent space in our ASEA home office. Now, as you can see in this video, we've appropriately named this laboratory the Virtus L. Norton Center for Redox Life Sciences. Dad, we all thank you from the bottom of our hearts for your willingness to launch this company. We can only hope that we can continue to build on the solid foundation that you created. We know it's up to us to take this movement forward into the next 10 years, and we pledge to do so in a manner that honors your name, your legacy, and your vision. Now, I believe that the Virtus L. Norton Center for Redox Life Sciences is a step forward in fulfilling that pledge to you. Thanks, Dad, for all you've done. The first step in setting up a new business, as you guys know, is to create a new business entity. This is a simple step. You organize and form a business entity to conduct business. It involves building and determining the structure that best serves you and your intentions, and then you have to actually file the necessary paperwork with the state. So as you'd imagine, over 10 years ago, we set up the entity of ASEA. But 10 years later, after 10 full years of becoming, the way I see it, we no longer have just an entity. We have something much, much more valuable. And I believe something that makes our next 10 years and our future very, very bright. We now have an identity. As we move into our next decade of growth, we know exactly who we are. We have a very clear and a very unique identity, and we plan to be more bold, declarative, and clear on this identity as we move forward.
Did I do something? Fix it.
Hit the arrow at the very bottom on your right side.
We are legacy. We are no longer a startup. I want to say that again. We are not a startup. We are through the early stages of business risk that can so easily beset and all too often destroy a new company. After 10 years, we now stand on very, very solid ground. Virtually all of our growth over these past 10 years, from 1 million in revenue to 170 million in revenue, has been financed by our own operations. And this is because my father's Fortune 50 disciplines were brought to this company day one. There were days when I wasn't grateful for those disciplines, but they have yielded results. His decades of experience running legacy companies proved to shape and form our whole business and operating philosophy at ASEA from the beginning. We have no long-term debt of any kind. We're in complete control of our future. We call the shots, and we're in this for the long haul. That's what it means when we say we are legacy. We've reached critical mass. We're seeing the economies that come from scale, from growing. And with that scale, we can now invest in the most meaningful initiatives for your success. Now, we're not perfect, for sure, and we've made and will continue to make mistakes along the way. But I want to challenge you to find a company that's at our stage of growth that is as committed to legacy as we are. Our success will be measured by whether your children or your heirs are receiving commissions long after you've decided to stop your business in terms of daily activity. Now, it's my belief that a company truly taking that long view, as we are in network marketing, is an endangered species. It's rare, it's hard to find, and it's very valuable. So yes, we are legacy. And our CEO, Chuck Funky, will speak more to this distinguishing characteristic of our identity in just a few minutes. So, who are we? We are opportunity. There are no boundaries or borders to what you can earn and become here at ASEA. If you simply want to supplement your monthly income with a modest but meaningful increase, it's here for you, and we will meet you right there. If you have, as I know many have, many years ago, you traded the maybe in your life for the sure thing, and now might feel the claustrophobia of a job that you have, but you never really wanted. If you feel you're worth more, you can be more, you can do more, and yet can never quite seem to be able to scratch the itch of your own potential, then you belong here with us. We are opportunity. Bring us that talent, bring us that desire and your willingness to try, and we will give you a story to tell like no other. A product set that can be found nowhere else in the world, and an opportunity for human impact and financial increase that will redefine your whole life. Yes, here, your business can break through borders because we are opportunity. Justin Wilson will be going deeper into this dimension of our identity and our singular opportunity later today. You will not want to miss what he has to say. So who are we? We are innovation. At ASEA, we're operating at a whole different level. The world is just now waking up to the power of what we've had for over 10 years. Cell signaling, cellular health, genetic pathways, these things will only continue to gain attention and acceptance as we move forward. And we were the innovators of this space. No other company, then or now, is pioneering these areas of health and wellness quite the way that we are. We know more today about our technology and what it represents than ever before. And leveraging our expanding portfolio of patents, we can see into a future of innovative product platforms that will continue to keep you at the leading edge of what I believe is a tired and crowded wellness industry. We are innovation with a technology that was well before its time, and with that 10-year lead, we will continue to innovate and expand the frontiers of what's possible in wellness as we move into our next 10 years. Whether in product, whether in ethos, whether in opportunity, innovation has always been a part of the ASEA identity. Now, you have to imagine that I'm excited about this next statement of our identity. We are ethos. This ASEA movement has a soul. If you're here for the first time, I want you to pay close attention to your feelings, because we have our own character. We have our own fundamental values, and they are specific and unique and peculiar just to us here at ASEA. This corporate soul breathes life into our organization. It is our distinguishing spirit. It is our ethos. And we have made the clarifying, the teaching, and the sharing of this ethos a high corporate priority since the very beginning of this company. It is summarized in the overarching belief that people, that purpose, and that principles must always come first. It's reflected in the quest to awaken belief and hope in others, and to create a place of belonging where all are welcome and feel at home. It then calls each of us to assess where we stand and find out who we really are as we begin to reach for what we can become. Our ethos is a multifaceted set of principles and truths and beliefs that we're committed to teaching and promoting around the world. These principles invite the very best of humanity in kindness, gratitude, and compassion from all of us. I think our ethos is reflected best or exemplified best in the work that our ASEA Advancing Life Foundation accomplishes around the world. It's all about lifting and loving others around us without regard for what they can do for us and without expectation of anything in return. Kim has an incredible impact summary and video to share with you later this morning and today that will punctuate the real difference our foundation is making in all regions of the world. And it will be my privilege to close our meeting today sharing an ethos message with all of you. Now, who are we? Lastly, and perhaps most importantly, is what I believe to be the most advantaged and differentiated element of our current and future identity. We are Redox. Redox, the energy that powers all life. ASEA was the very first company to promote the power of redox in service of cellular health. Later this afternoon, our president, Jerem Webb, will take us through a powerful overview of why We Are Redox is such an important declaration of our identity. You'll see in his presentation that the world is waking up to what we've known, that the principles of redox affect virtually every aspect of life sciences, and they prefigure a whole new world of opportunity and impact in health and wellness. No other company in this industry, or any other for that matter, has staked a more declarative claim around a more compelling and relevant area of health and wellness than we have at ASEA. Literally no one. And that claim is simply, we are redox. Now mark my words, the next 10 years will further reveal and affirm that my father's vision to build a legacy company around the principles of not only redox signaling, but a broader future redox movement in biology and wellness was a brilliant strategic move. Redox is much bigger than we currently understand, and we can already see that it's gaining greater acceptance, understanding, and appreciation. My friends, we are sitting in pole position for what will undoubtedly prove to be the most significant new area of health and wellness that we will have seen for decades. The stage is set for redox, and it's our stage. These declarations of our current and future identity, we are legacy, we are opportunity, we are innovation, we are ethos, and lastly, we are redox, which overarches all of the others. When they're coupled with the detailed ASEA will statements that I shared in my closing presentation last year, for me, this is where identity, where vision, where strategy and competitive advantage all come together and meet. Guys, this is who we are. This is our identity. And this will be our focus for the next 10 years of ASEA's growth. I think you will agree with me that without doubt, our past has been both favored and wonderful. And without doubt, our future is bright and exciting. And today, we celebrate both in the best way that 2020 will allow. Welcome to our 2020 Webvention.
Wow.